What's up, YouTube? I'm Mike, and today I'm coming from a brand new location, and check out my friends. We are currently in Colorado camping. What we're actually doing is testing a new way of life. I've been alluding to this on my channel a couple of times that my wife Sarah and I were considering making a massive change in the way that we live just because, I don't know, we're crazy. We want to change a pace. We want to try something new. We came to midlife crisis, she said. There she is over there, cooking. So if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that we just did some vacationing in Colorado, and we both fell in love with with the scenery here. And so my wife came up with well, let me back up a second. We were going to move to Miami. We came to Colorado, and I fell in love with Colorado. That made me want to move to Colorado, but the housing market here was really not any better than in Miami. I mean, it's slightly better, but for what we're looking for, it was still ridiculous. And so my wife came up with the genius idea of becoming nomads, overlanders. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this term, but there are people in this country, really all over the world, who basically live out of RVs or tents or their car or their camper van or their converted van, and they stay in what they call dispersed camping sites. So basically, the Cliff's Notes version for this video is that in the national forests in America and in, you hear those cows? And any what's called BLM or Bureau of Land Management area, you can legally camp effectively anywhere that's not posted not to camp for up to 14 days. Now that specific number, the cows are getting it on. Okay, so anyway, back to what I was saying. You can live, whether it's in an RV, a tent, a bunch of tents, whatever you want, with certain regulations anywhere within these parcels of land. They make up over 500 million acres or miles of land all across the U.S., but primarily in the in the western half of the United States. So there's tons of places in Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, everywhere in the West. We happen to really like it in Colorado, and so we decided to give this a try. What we have purchased to do this with, I'm going to show you now. Hold up. That is our 16-foot Pace American trailer being towed by our BMW X5. This is an emergency shelter. It pops up in less than 2 minutes. This is the Core 14x9 Core 14x9 pop-up tent. We have the Kodiak 12x12 canvas tent with an 8x8 awning connected to the front of it. We have not one, but two Polaris 570 quads. That one in the front is a trail model, and the one in the back is the premium model. We have Elon Musk's Starlink internet, which is what's allowing me to bring you this video today, because we are definitely not in cell service or internet range. This is my kids' 10x10 Kodiak canvas tent. There's my wife and my daughter and our firewood. This is where we've been showering. This is a pop-up shower tent that we use water from that pump bottle to hose ourselves down with. Inside this little screen room, we have our kitchen. That is a Camp Chef Everest 2X camping stove and all kinds of little odds and ends. And then powering this system, we have 4 EcoFlow 160 watt solar panels going into, is there anything embarrassing in here?
I mean, it's a mess.
It's a mess in here. We're still moving in, for lack of a better term. Down here we have an EcoFlow Delta Max battery power system that connects to the solar panels that connects to our setup. Inside there, like I said, we just got set up in here, so our tent is actually a mess, but that's what that looks like. So that is what we have been living out of for the last 2 weeks. We started in New Mexico, we stayed outside of Santa Fe, and then we went on into the southern part of Colorado where we accidentally camped somewhere where we were not supposed to camp. I have a video coming up about that. And now we're outside Pagosa Springs doing a little camping up in the mountains. So I'm sure you got a view, but let me give you one more. This is what it looks like effectively in the woods outside of where we are staying. If you are following me on Instagram, which you about that, I accidentally hit the stop button. Anyway, this is our scenery for up to 14 days. So we're giving this a test run. I really shouldn't call it a test run because we spent $50,000 on all of the stuff that I just showed you and a bunch of stuff that you probably can't see, little odds and ends and stuff like that. So I sold my car, my BMW M340i. We have not sold our house yet. We were on the verge of putting it on the market. And I said, you know, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to go like test this crazy nutbag theory and see if we can even do it before we just up and sell our house. At this point, I can't make any promises to what we're going to do. This is a very hard way of life. It's very dirty. It can be very cold. It can be very hot. The plan was to basically be nomads. So I don't like extreme hot. I don't like extreme cold like most human beings. So our plan was to live in the South, you know, in the Arizona, Southern Cali area during the winter, and then basically just kind of be like birds. So as the temperatures warm up, you go north, and as the temperatures cool off, you go south. We have enough money to do this for a very long time, but basically it doesn't cost anything. All of the real costs come with startup, and so once you get that, then you're good to go. So yeah, man, that's what we're working with. That's where we've been. That's why I haven't been posting any content. I think that I'm going to be posting this content to a separate like section on my channel called tantrums. And where that word comes from, my wife likes to make fun of me because I'm always on trend, and so I'm always throwing tantrums, and she thought it would be funny to do a bunch of recording of all of the stuff that goes on in camp, because she felt like I would definitely be throwing tantrums in a tent. So she came up with tantrums. Yeah, that's what we're working with here. So I don't know if I'm gonna make a separate channel or if I'm just gonna do videos mixed in here. Obviously I got to do something to keep my physique in line. I'm still on cycle, for those of you who are concerned. I'm still definitely on 500 milligrams of test and 50 milligrams of Trin and 50 milligrams a day of Anadrol. So that has definitely been helping with this process. And I would be remiss to forget to mention that none of this would have been possible without the good folks at Royal Medical Center taking care of my testosterone replacement therapy. If you are not currently on testosterone replacement therapy and you feel like you need it, then you should definitely reach out to the very nice people at Royal Medical Center and use code MikeFit at sign up to get a 6-month discount off of your membership. So if not for those guys keeping me in the best health of my life, I would not be able to do this. And it has been a hell of a lot of fun living up here and experiencing a new way of life. So after this video, which is going to serve sort of as the introduction video, despite the fact that I've already shot at least one video worth of content, so you'll see that next, maybe. That's what's going on. If you had been following me on Instagram, which you definitely should, then you will already know what we are doing, because I've been posting a bunch of pictures of where we have been staying. The original intention was to test run this for 2 weeks. We ran into some snags and we're having a lot of fun. So honestly, I don't know how long it's going to be before we get back. We got to get back eventually and sell our house if this is what we're going to do long term. we haven't decided whether we're going to, well, A, whether we're going to do this long term, B, whether we're going to do it long term out of tents, C, whether we're going to try to change our investment strategy and buy maybe like a fifth wheel that will also tow the ATVs. Just not really sure yet. We're kind of just, experimenting with different things to see what works. So there you have it. That is what I have been up to for going on 2 weeks now. There's going to be tons of content to follow with all of the different places that we visit, all of the struggles we run into. We already had one, which I'm going to make a separate video about because it was a very frustrating turn of events. But anyway, there you have it. That's what's been going on. So hopefully you guys who've been following me from the bodybuilding side will continue to watch the antics that have been going on, that are going on with the tantrums side, and hopefully some new subscribers will come over who are interested in the overlanding, boondocking, dispersed camping way of life, because I think it's something that we're going to be doing a lot of, even if it's not something that is totally full-time. We just don't know yet. Still very early, too close to call, as they say during the elections, which are coming up. And cannot tell you how important these elections are. I have tried to stay away from the news recently because that's part of the reason I'm out here. Just trying to disconnect from all of the insanity in our world today. But I saw some very upsetting things today. Mass stabbing in Canada, which is one, horrific and horrible. And my thoughts go out to all of the people who were victims of that and the families of those people. But I would be remiss to say that it's a bit ironic, isn't it? That Canada just passed some of the most restrictive gun laws in the free world. Well, that's probably not true, but some definitely restrictive gun laws in hopes of curbing this mass violence. And then right on the heels of this new legislation, you've got at least 10 people dead from stabbings. Maybe eventually we'll wake up in this world, but probably not in my lifetime. So anyway, enough of that. Hopefully this has been entertainment, and we'll see you on the next one.